Welcome back, my dear students. So, our little project is coming alive, right? We are making a request to our WebSocket. We are getting a response. We are actually logging in a response from our client, right? We are detecting that connection. That's nice. But what if we wanted to submit some type of data? What if we want to listen for data from our client, which is like, say, our application on the web server, like maybe a form? It's being submitted and we want to get that data and transmit it to all the clients, transmit it to every other connection, every browser that's open. Maybe like a chat application where you say hello and everybody sees your message. How can we achieve something like that? Let's get this to be a little bit more exciting. So let's go to our client, which is in this case this WebSocket.html page or HTML page. And let's write something a little bit more exciting. Let's create a form. There we go. And in the action attribute here, what I want to do is I want to stop the form from executing. Basically, I want to stop the form from refreshing the page. So I want to use this void function. And I'm just going to say 0 here. That's going to stop the form from refreshing. We can double check that in a minute. And that's what we're going to be doing just to make sure that that's working, because it's been a long time since I used that function. I'm just going to write message here. I'm going to write a little input here. I'm not using Bootstrap. You're welcome to do it. Maybe we'll do it later, but right now we won't use any framework for HTML for now. I don't promise it because I want this little app to look okay. So let's open this in the browser real quick. And it would be nice if I see my form there. There we go. So that's looking very small. Let's make it a little bigger. So I got this form here that if I press enter, nothing is happening. Let's go ahead and create a little button here. Let's just say button. Hopefully I'm spelling that correct. And let's just say submit. We should put that in another screen. This little browser here. Let's just put it in another. There we go. So now let's refresh this. If I submit it, you see that that does not refresh. Let's go back to it. Excuse me, guys. Let's take this off. Make sure you save your documents. Let's refresh it. Now if I click here, you see that the little thing moves here. That's being refreshed all the time. We don't want that. Let's put it back. I just wanted to show you how that little function works, and I wanted your form to actually work. Make sure that you're doing the job with me, guys. It just helps. Okay. So now we got this form that we want to receive data. We want this form basically to send data to our server. How can we do that? Well, we have our client, because right now this is just HTML, but we have our client hooked up to this right here. So let's manage that connection here in the client. So let's first of all get a handle on that form. We're going to be using document forms to get an array of all the forms that we have in our application in that HTML file. We only have one, so I'm just going to say 0. And we are going to attach this submit. And this is not a function. This is just a property. Now we get the function here. There we go. You can pass whatever data you want here. I'm not using anything, so I'm not passing any data to that. I just want to get data from that form. Now we can grab that form by ID right here. And I believe we have an ID of message, if I'm not mistaken. And let's go and check that out. Yes, you see that? Let's go back to it. Once we get a handle of that, we can do a console. And that's kind of big. I need to get rid of that. Console.log. Let's see how that looks. Let's open our console here in the bottom. It's a little bigger. Let's refresh the page. Write something here. Enter. And we got a connection arrow here because it says WebSocket. Oh, our server is now up and running. There we go. So that way we don't get any errors. Let's just turn our server on. Okay, great. All right. Let's check out our connection here in the client because this is supposed to be unsubmit, not submit. Sorry about that, guys. I just noticed that. Let's refresh. Let's just take out all these arrows here. And let's just say, now it works. Enter. And you can see that we get the whole input element. Of course, if we want the value, we can get the value out. So that's working. Great. So now what we want to do is we want to get the value out of that. So I'm just going to create a variable here real quick. Oops. And I'm just going to use the new let keyword in ES6. And now we can just do a console here for input value. Just making sure that the form works. Okay. Let's refresh here. Enter. And you can see the value. So now we got the form working. We got a handle on the form. Now it's time for us to push that data into our server. So let's try that out and see how that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this instance here. And that's how we are going to send information to our server. Remember that this is the hook that we have with our server. We're making that request right here to our web server in this protocol. So we're hitting that server, right? And we get something back, right? We can get this instance and send data to that. So we use the function send. And what we're going to be sending is this input value, of course, instead of logging in it and instead of being connected here, right? Now, I'm going to be running Node.js instead of that because I might be making some changes later to that WebSocket server. There we go. All right, so now it's sending information to our server. Now, let's go back to our server here. We are logging in information, data that we hard-coded here. We are not really grabbing data from anywhere. We're just hard-coding data. Can you guess how we can grab data from our client? Okay, I really wasn't expecting you to actually answer that just because I can't hear you, first of all. And second of all, you don't know this information yet. So what we need to do here is grab this WebSocket right here. Okay, this bring what we call a listener. This listener is going to listen for a message from that specific client. Remember that on this connection here, on every connection, we get this instance of this client. This would be our client right here, basically, or clients, should I say. But we have methods that we can use that. And this listener is listening for any message from our clients. And let's just put it right here in this callback. It gets this callback. Okay. And now we can listen to that. Now we have a handle on that message that we are getting. All right. So we can log in this message and see what we get. All right. Now let's see. Let's go to this page here. We are going to refresh, and when we refresh, we are connected. But then if we say Edwin Diaz, enter, we get a log right here of Edwin Diaz. When we go back, we get Edwin Diaz on the server as well. Now don't get confused with the log that I have right here. Remember, this is just in the client. So we are going to see this in the client as well because I am doing it there. But now watch this. I already made a comment on it and took it off from here. So now if I press submit, I'm not going to see anything here, but I will see it here. Let's go back and refresh it actually. There we go. We are connected. You see that? Now gibberish, enter, and then we get this gibberish data there. You see that? You see how easy that was? Okay. So again, I want you to be very clear on this. We get the form, right? We get a handle on the form right here. So we're getting data from the form and we are putting it in this variable. Then we use this instance, this hook right here that we have to this web server to create this instance that has methods that we can use. One of the methods that we can use is send. Okay, this is going to send data to our web server. We are sending this data here, a WebSocket server actually. We're sending it, and now by default we get this callback with that data coming from any client, right? But this instance as well, right? This has methods as well that we can listen. And this is a hard-coded listener name here. So you will always have this message that you want to listen to. This is not a name that I'm making up. This is something that is waiting for. Okay, this is what I'm waiting for. A message from any client. We're grabbing that message and we are, of course, using our own features here. We are logging this to the console in the server. Okay, this is all in the server right now. And this is in the client. This is happening here in the HTML basically. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this was clear enough for you. And I'll see you in the next lecture where we're going to be using a couple more different listeners and see how we can actually make this work a little better. You're doing awesome. Just keep coding, keep doing it, keep rocking it. See you in the next one.